which skiing was a great part. So they really wanted to interfere in that business. Fusalp built quickly a partnership, so we're going to see if it works, a partnership with the French ski team, and created the first, it doesn't work now. No, yes, the first ski suit, ski racing suit. And as you can see, it was very modernist and very efficient, as all these champs got lots of medals. Then Fusalp developed in the 60s and in the 70s to become one of the leaders in the ski wear business, working both on sports and fashion values, as you can see. So when my brother and I bought the brand back in 2014, it had shrunken and lost its identity. So with my sister-in-law and artistic director of Fusalp, Mathilde Lacoste, we decided to work first on giving back its identity and authenticity to the brand, and to be able to secure it and to build a brand on a long-term view. Building a brand is really a 360 degrees process. You first need, of course, to draw your brand platform, but then you really need to expand it widely to all the fields that the brand meets. I mean, in the products, of course, in advertising, in marketing, but moreover, I would say, on the social impact of the brand, on the ecological impact of the brand, and as we're here to speak about it, on the cultural and artistic impact of the brand. And when I say impact, I mean a discussion, because it's where the brand brings, but also where the brand can take. It's really a matter of taking our position as a stakeholder in our environment. So how do we express it? Our baseline is the art of movement. We are here, we want to do products that meet the needs of movement, whatever they are, whether it's skiing, whether it's doing yoga, whether it's cycling in the city, going to the office. We really want to accompany movement in your everyday life. So our first interest, of course, as the art of movement, are in the performing arts. And I can show you some examples of what we've done lately. First of all, we've had a great partnership with Xavier Veillant. We have dressed Stephen Thompson in an incredible dancing and ice skating performance. So you can see Stephen, who is wearing the Fusalp suit. And in fact, the piece was called Compulsory Figures and played all over France and Canada to work on the drawings that the skate make on the ice in parallels of the drawings made on the screen. We also have a fascinating collaboration, a very long-term collaboration with François Chéniaud, who is a dancer, a singer, and I really recommend all of you to discover what he's doing, because he really is unique. And it's really a close relationship. He came the other day to Mathilde's office, took some materials, took some pictures, whatever, in a big bag, and said, okay, I'll be back. I can't tell you what I'm doing now, but it's for my next piece. And it's really like, I would say, a month-to-month relationship. Mathilde Monnier also is someone very important to us. She's an incredible dancer. For those of you who don't know her, she ran for 10 years Le Centre National de la Danse in France, which is the greatest dancing center in the world. And she's a really great help for us. And also we are sponsoring Mohamed El Khatib in its next play, Boule à Neige, and which will hopefully play in November at the Festival d'Automne. So as you can see, it is really a question of relationship that we are building with people. It's an intellectual friendship. And it is how we can meet people and express ourselves through their work. And Mathilde Lacoste always say that she wants to work on the body, the way the body moves, the upkeep of the body, the posture, the silhouette. She wants to make clothing, architectural clothing that enables movement. And saying that it's really one of the greatest highlights that we can do of that we can make of what we do with Fusalp. And saying that, you can easily understand why it's so crucial for us to work with artists that are professional of movement. And we even go further in that movement, because even when speaking about influencers, we don't work with fashion influencers. We only work with influencers, if I can show, yeah, that are artists that have something to show and that really have a very high sense of expertise and technical skills. One other thing which is very important to us is to be part of our local network. We are in Annecy, and we really want to be one of the cultural and economical leaders of the area. So we are sponsoring as well of course, the National Theatre there, but also the Art Décoratif School, so that we can have the students work on projects related to us, as you can see on that on these mannequins and merchandising mobilier, but also on projects for themselves. They can use the materials that they're here, our facilities. And it's very nice because for our teams to have the students coming in and out of the office and being used to have that kind of people around. Then if we speak about a truly more classical collaboration with artists, we have made, thanks to Aurelie, a great collaboration with Bruno Rousseau, with this sweater that was sold exclusively on the 24 Sèvres website for its opening. And Bruno also showed its work in our Saint-Germain shop for 1 month during the Saint-Germain promenade that Anne-Pierre is organizing. And so that was something important for us also. When you are doing retail, one of the greatest challenges that we are facing now is to make an atmosphere, to create something different, to make it worth for people to come into the shop rather than going to our website. So we've organized in our Parisian shop in Le Marais, which was actually our first shop, some exhibitions with photographers that work with the mountains. And the first one was with Eric Bourret, who is a great guy, and who's working on trends, the trends that comes with the long days of walk in the mountains. And we really find his work very inspiring. We also had Nick Mick, who is a British photographer, working on a set with a Yeti walking around in the Chamonix surrounding. And it's quite fun when you know that in the Yeti costume, in fact, it's his wife. So they've been hiking in high mountain with this costume, and it's a very, very funny and strange thing to do. And then we also had Carlos Ayesta, which work I liked a lot because it's about ghosts in ski resorts. And I always find that in that kind of very mechanical landscape, it's nice to have some poetry. Now, I just would like to tell you a bit more about the influence that we have for Fusalp in arts. And of course, the greatest is Charlotte Perriand. Because of her aesthetical values, of course, but also and moreover for her intellectual approach, her philosophy on materials, on concepts, on circulations, her practical spirit, really, our authenticity, and there's no superfluous about Charlotte, and it's really something that it's very truly important to us. And also for you to know, Mathilde is currently working on pictures from Erwin Olaf, and it will be the inspiration for next winter communication on site and in our shop windows. But Mathilde also finds great inspiration in the work of GR, and she really wanted me to tell you about him, and especially the work that he's been doing with Agnès Varda. Their approach on the nature, on the changes of scale, interest her a lot. All the journey that they have accomplished together, the playfulness that is so tremendously important to us, and also how it is ephemeral. So what I would like to highlight is that for us, I think we are more looking for an emotion than for an aesthetic statement in the links we look for with arts. And we want to feel that emotion as a community. I really feel with that with the crisis that we are facing now, and more surely for the next month, there's going to be, in the good way, a greater and even deeper sense of local communities. To summarize, for us, the connection to arts is more a matter of philosophy of thought in a long-term view than a run to the next communication or marketing opportunity. It is a way of seeing ourselves in the world we live in. It is really food to our creativity and to our authenticity. Voilà. What I could say about that.
Yeah.
Aurelie?
Thank you, Sophie. So it was a great presentation. I think that it's very interesting to see that you've been working with Xavier Veillant. Well, to see the images first of the Fusalp in the 60s, of course, it's quite something. We all relate to that. And also with the dance, with the music, with the choreography, with all these different sort of performing arts that we experience every day. Aurélie, so I want Aurélie Julien. So now, for those of you who joined after, so maybe you can tell us about yourself and how did you meet Sophie, and how did you arrive to collaborate with Sophie, and then we'll go on with how it was.
Yeah. I will share my PDF. Oops, wait.
I have someone from Wyoming that cannot connect for the moment. Ooh.
So first, to explain you, Sophie and I we know each other since we are 12, so some years now. We are around our 40s plus. And that's how we met. So, and that's why logically, when Sophie needs to exchange on art or me to exchange on fashion, link is quite easy, and we are very close friends. I mean, like we say, BFF. And so to explain you what I'm doing, actually, I'm doing advising, but I'm doing advising from B2B to B2C. So officially, I'm communicating on B2B because I can give the name. Those people being usually creative people, except the gallery carpenters with who I'm working with, knowing that because I opened Carpenters Workshop Gallery space in 2011. And when I decided to build my own company, it was to join Martin Zekeli, to work with him. So I started my own company with Martin Zekeli at the beginning, and continuing by discussing with the two owners of Carpenters how we were able to continue our relationship, even if I was freelance with my own company. So that's how we work with the gallery now. It's about curating, bringing them new talents as Virgil Abloh. We did a collaboration in Venice last Biennale. And so I'm working also with the architect Joseph Diron, the fashion designer Alexis Mabi. So you have all the name, also a company like Maison Matisse, who are starting to develop design for everyone, but also limited design editions. So I'm helping them on the collectible design part, so the limited editions, because this is really my niche. And just starting a new collaboration with this Russian designer based in New York named Harry Noriev, which is like the young rising star in our world. And the B2C, it's all the clients I'm advising, private ones. One will be, at what point we'll be able to talk about it, because we have a foundation project, and which is super exciting here. It's that this foundation will show design, and art. Usually you can see contemporary art, modern art, or not even some collectible design. I mean, private foundation for collectible design is very weak today. So this is actually one of my everyday projects. It's to helping this collector developing and opening this place once. I think it's going to be in something around 10 years now. So it's a big and long time, mid-long time project, but we're working on the collection and building the collection since 5 years now, more than 5 years. To go back to our direct topic here, so art and fashion, I think it was great to review a bit where it started, at least in the 20th century, knowing that we can notice a strong relationship since years, since centuries, in between fashion designers, design and art. We can, speak about Paul Poiret, Jeanne Lanvin, Schiaparelli, Saint Laurent, and here we go. I think the first very important collaboration in art, or actually and fashion designer who was interested in showing his love for art in his collection was probably Yves Saint Laurent with the Mondrian dress in 1965. And it's important also to review then his collection in 1988, Tribute to Van Gogh, which was actually one of his biggest success in terms commercial success, meaning. Which is also interesting and that we developed further a bit, it's that all the important people owning like shop like Colette before, or multi-brand luxury stores, you have to understand that they're all collecting also contemporary art and design. So definitely I think there is a strong link between both fields. I think that people from fashion are feeling themselves in art, and for sure the opposite could work. Even if I still think that fashion is taking more from art, at least I think both are very, have a very strong relationship. And even myself, I think I'm always seeking for what is happening in fashion, to feed my eyes and to be always on the edge, and even to feel better what is important in contemporary art today for the young artists and etc. Or to find a new good artist, or actually someone I think will be good, or and today it's difficult not to separate each other, because as we will see, since I will say beginning of 2000 now, it's becoming more and more, collabs are becoming more and more current, I will say. I think it started really under the era of Marc Jacob at Vuitton, but for the back parts and the maroquinerie, not directly on the collection of Marc Jacob himself. But I think you all remember the Steven Sprouse graffiti bag. I think it was one of the first very strong collaboration, offered to grand public with a very famous luxury brand. And actually Vuitton from that started to do it more and more. So then for sure Murakami, and more recently you have the one with Jeff Koons. Then for sure also Kusama. And then we can come to what finally is the interest for an artist to do this kind of collaboration, and the opposite. What I think it's the question we have for sure. I will say that most of the time it's more interesting for the brand to bring an artist in his field. And actually it's very risky for an artist to say yes to a big brand, because it could be seen like something like if he needs money, he's working only for money more than really for his art, or maybe sometimes it can be seen like because he needs his name, maybe to be a bit more, seen on the market. So it could be really the artist has to think about it and before saying yes to a brand. I think where we have a very good example of a perfect win-win is and I can tell you about it because actually I met Virgil just before his Nike collaboration. When I was saying I was collaborating with Virgil, he was already having his own brand Off-White. Really, no, all my friends from 40, 35, 40 years old plus, they were like, what is it? Ooh, Virgil Abloh, Off-White, what is it? And after Nike, it was crazy. Like my friends were calling me to have, to have shoes for their kids, for their teenager, even for themselves. So it was really like for Nike, the opportunity to touch all the teenagers that Virgil was already touching through the music because he was also a DJ. And for Virgil, it was the opportunity for him to be well known by, all those people, and for sure Nike, so big audience. And also then through Nike, Off-White become his own brand, became even more famous. And I'm telling you, I've seen the difference in 6 months. Before, after Nike, it was another world. Even me, my meeting where he was coming to my place, chilling 2 hours at my place, drawing on the carpet. After Nike, I was like, 2 PA, meeting for 30 minutes. The life changes completely. And for me, this case is very apart because I think, again, that it was a perfect win-win for the brand, Nike, and Virgil. Then I was thinking to show you some collabs which are maybe not so famous but important, like both group, LVMH or Kering, both owners being big art collectors, so Mr. Arnaud for LVMH and Mr. Pinault for Kering. So you will see they're really developing that. So it's becoming also, because of their fashion designers, usually the choice of the artist for the collab is coming from a special link in between. In the case of Balenciaga here, I'm showing you the scenography of the show in 2019, Spring-Summer Runaway show in 2019 is with this American artist, John Raffman. This for sure because Demna Zvalia, which is the designer of the brand, probably is a big fan of the artist and a friend. So he asked him to do the scenography. There is this part of it, but also there is definitely for an intellectual bond for the brand, a real will to develop collabs, many collabs with artists today. And we will see it further in my PDF. Dior is planning to do that now all the time for most of the collection, a new collaboration with a different artist. Rimowa is doing the same, collaboration with different contemporary artists or designers for sure, but designers, it's again a different thing because they're used to work on objects. So we are more concentrated here on artists. And also for Balenciaga, this artist, Eliza Douglas, who is one of the hot cake in the market today in contemporary art. She's for sure a model at the beginning, but also very close from Demna, the creator of Balenciaga. And even at the Balenciaga show, this is her work for you to see what she's doing. She's working, she's working on Josh Smith's work, so very famous artist. And then you will see, even on the last Balenciaga show, you had the famous Francesca Piagari, the owner, so on the Runaway show. So our gallery is in Zurich, and she's very edgy and important gallery. And here you have for Dior, it started some years ago because of the friendship. As I was saying, this is probably the beginning of most of the collaboration of the brand. So Ralph Simmons is a very close friend of Sterling Ruby. So that's how they came to develop some dresses together. So Ralph Simmons for one of his show printed, a special fabric based on the spray work of Sterling Ruby. And also, so Dior started to is starting to do that. So it started with Half Simmons, but then they are doing that with other artists we will see later. And also they are doing a collection since a couple of years, 2 or 3 years now, based on the Lady D, the bag, and asking some different artists to interfere on the bag. And I have a funny picture here of myself because I have the work and the bag. So it was kind of very funny when because this bag was offered to me because the person knew I had the painting. And it was very funny to tell the guy from Dior that besides the bag he was sending me, I had the painting, you know, so we took the picture. So for me, it was super. It was a very also special moment when I read on the press that John Giorno, the artist here, who is dead recently, unfortunately, but he was 92 years old, very important American artist actually, who chose the sentence I bought before. So for me, it was, I didn't know I was in, is it too commercial now? Or finally, if he chose this sentence in particular, maybe it's good. At the beginning, I was a bit hesitating on this. And at the end, I think I'm very happy, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great picture.
It's a funny one.
Yeah,
we took it just when I received the bag, so I was like,
yeah.
And so to show you now the collaboration I was saying for Dior. So this one is about Daniel Arsham. So, and the show he has in the same moment at Perrotin. Actually, it was the show in January. For you, I think it was interesting to put what they are doing for fashion and what they are doing in general in their work as artists. So this is the Dior B, you know, revisited by Cause.
Mm-hmm.
This is another collab they've done with Raymond Petitbon. And I will I'll show you quickly and then we discuss. This is the work of Raymond Petitbon. This was the show of the opening of the Galerie David Zwirner in Paris. They opened the space with a show by Petitbon. And this is the collab I was telling you about for Rimowa with Alex Israel. So you see the luggage and usually his work. It's coming from. And this is the young designer I'm working with since very recently, Harry Nureyev. He presented this sofa last design in Miami in collaboration with Balenciaga. They help him by giving them for sure all the clothes. I did that with Nike also, Nike Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Sophie is just designing for the launch. It was supposed to be presented in New York end of March for the launch of the new Air Max. Mm-hmm. Which is important to see. It's that for Dior, they are really experimenting collaboration with artists very well known, but in a very kind of collector's niche, like Raymond Petitbon and Arsham. They are not well known by the grand public. But people like Cause, I mean Murakami, all those artists touching to close to street art, those are very famous, and especially because they are very famous in Asia. And Asiatic collectors and clients are very careful about those kind of collabs. So this is why also brands, luxury brands are developing that. It's to really catch their Asian clients because it's really something they are on. And to understand, I was talking, I thought it was interesting to have the opinion on people who are selling the brands. And actually they told me that in France, for instance, people, they don't even care about who is doing the collabs. I mean, they don't even know about Raymond Petitbon, they don't even know about Daniel Arsham, but just the brand, they have, I mean, if you want to sell the brand, you have to buy this part of the collection. So first you have to have it in stores if you want to buy the rest of the collection. So, and when they have it, they can notice that when it's coming from street art, people are buying in knowing, but when it's coming to Petit Bon or Archam, they are buying, but it could be buying, you know, whatever, with no name of, with no collabs, or collabs doesn't change anything. So, and also I think what it was interesting to tell you, it's that Eddie Slimane, when he did his first show for Celine, also used a collabs with the artist Christian Markley. And coming to Eddie Slimane, I'm coming to the fact that what we can see today is that some fashion designers are saying they're artists, like Eddie Slimane. Eddie Slimane was even represented by the Galerie Almina Reich in 2005. He did a collection. And for sure, I'm working with someone like Virgil Abloh, who is probably representing perfectly what I'm saying, is that being a designer, architect, fashion designer, artist, actually DJ. So it's becoming more and more collabs, less and less boundaries. Artists, fashion designers, they want to touch everything, to do everything. So I think there are many positive things in collaboration, but at what point we are also maybe sometimes losing ourselves in those many collabs, and sometimes artists also have to be careful not to lose themselves in those kind of collabs. I think that's sometimes it's a bit the limit we can see today. So as was Sophie was saying, I think it's very important to stick with your what you want for your brand, and before talking about commercial, maybe talking about the message you want to send to people, and from that it can be only good things, and only the good choice you will do for the artist you will choose for the collabs.
Yes, that's thank you, Aurelie. That was a fantastic presentation. Maybe you can stop sharing the screen so we can go back to the that was a fantastic presentation, and I think that we have learned a lot from what you have shown, like sort of the historic background, the Yves Saint Laurent dress, Schiaparelli, to the contemporary. And I think you're right that Murakami and Louis Vuitton, when they started their collaboration, it opened a new sort of world for fashion. That was very important, and is still very important. There are still a lot of things to do. I also think that you're right that the artists, in their creativity, they bring a lot to the brand. Also, I would like to say that for some artists, they get a lot of inspiration from fashion as well. And even though it seems that, of course, when there's a collaboration with Dior for the bags, for the Lady Dior, I was talking with Marguerite Humeau, for example. She said she had totally carte blanche to experiment all the materials to make a bag, but at the end it's not really a bag, it's more a sculpture. And they address themselves to lots of art collectors who buy these things because they know the artist. But it also brings to the artist and to the art world. It's like two big cats looking at each other, and each is a bit jealous of the other. I think maybe the artist sometimes, because it's difficult to be an artist, they are isolated and they like sort of the shining aspect of fashion, and vice versa in a way, you know. And it brings to both sides. And there's still a lot to do in that field. I'm very admirative of the sort of dialogue that you have installed with the designers and with the brands and with Fusalp, and that to see that there's still a lot to say, and that you want to go further, as you said, in this field. For you, Sophie, maybe it would be interesting to have your input on what for you is the limit of these kind of collaborations. When sometimes maybe artists, they maybe sometimes they don't have in mind that you have to sell a product at the end of the day. So that maybe, is that the limit, or what is this limit of the exercise to your point of view?
To my point of view, I think that it depends really what is the objective, what is the goal of the collaboration. If it's really, as Aurelie said, I mean, for me, as I told you, we are a very small company, so we're not going to do thousands of things, and we're not going to have that kind of project Aurelie told you about now. I hope soon, but not really now. But we, as I told you, it's more about a collaboration and giving soul to the brand, how we can express the brand in different ways. So when we do a collaboration with an artist, whatever collaboration, if it's in performing arts or in paintings or in sculptures or whatever, or in photograph, it has to make sense with ourselves. So I mean, we will never have the objective to sell the piece.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If we do collabs with other fashion brands, we're gonna make some collaboration with great fashion brands, luxury, then we have the objective to sell the pieces. But if we do a collaboration with an artist, selling the piece will never be the point for us. But it's not the same than Louis Vuitton with some bags, or if they make a real great quantity and then they have to sell it. But then they choose. The bag you were speaking about, I'm sure they made, I don't know, 100 pieces, I guess, not
yeah,
maybe 10, I don't know. But it's just a question of giving soul to the brand, making it alive in many ways so that it can be part of the life of the people. That's the main objective, whatever the brand is.
Yes, it's true that it's some kind of for a brand, it seems that it's some kind of air coming in. You have lots of creativity, and you sip into it, and you nourish your mind and your spirit. So
and then people can imagine the brand on other fields. In fact, they can give food also to the imagination they have for the brand.
Yes, and as you were saying, Aurelie, it's sometimes like a win-win for Virgil Abloh and Nike, or for I'm sure for Raymond Petitbon as well, because Dior they sell a lot of these very small edition products. So it's kind of a new category of small editions of art objects. I will. Time is running, and we can have this conversation for a long time. So I was wondering if any of you, I think we are a very big group today. So is any of you have a question to ask to Sophie and Aurelie? If you have any questions or experience in the art, in the in the theme of art and fashion. Oh, no questions. No questions. Okay. So I was wondering maybe if anyone could react to the bags by Jeff Koons and Louis Vuitton. It's been quite a shock. I mean, Jeff Koons is a shocking artist to most of us, and that's what he likes to do. But for using the image of art history and making bags, what did you think? Did you think it was something very sort of ludic, or did you think it was like just tacky? Vas-y.
Voilà.
Ouais.
I thought it was, number one, not even aesthetically very pleasing.
We can't
I
hear
thought
you.
it was.
Yeah. You thought it was?
Tu m'entends?
Oui.
I thought it was ugly, very tacky, and and I don't know who bought them. Basically,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't know. Was it a success?
I'm sure. No?
Yeah.
Yeah, huge success.
Yeah, huge success.
Where? In Asia?
In Asia.
In Asia, yes. Because we have to think that in this field of art and fashion, we are. It's not you and us as art collectors and art lovers. We're not always the focus of the brands.
The target.
We have to imagine that there's a whole world out there that's Asia, and you know, the fashion is turning that towards them and to their clients, and so we are not as much as fashion addicts as we think we are, but sometimes, yes, exactly, and so that
not for that.
yeah, exactly. So that could be the limit of art and fashion collaboration.
And also, you have to imagine that the clients there, the Louis Vuitton is focusing in Asia. They are between 25 and 30 years old. They're very, very young. So
yes,
it's
exactly.
another way of seeing arts.
Yes, yeah. As when I had my parcours in Chengdu, it was amazing. I was in front of a bunch of very young aliens dressed in fashion victims all the time. And I looked at myself and I felt like the poor Cinderella out of there, you know. Yeah, that's true. It was something quite.
It's another world.
Yes, quite impressive. I was about to say something, I forgot. But anyway, Aurelie, do you have anything you want to add to this conversation? What's you like to work with designers and artists? Do you I'm sure it's easier to work with designers because they know how to work with a brief, whether as artists they always want to, you know, put themselves first and their sort of ego first as well. But is there, do you have like a dream collaboration in mind, or is it very secret?
No, I can die tomorrow. I'm living it every day. I'm working with Martin Zekeli, so it's always what I'm saying, you know, in my field, which is the design at the beginning, even more than contemporary art. I mean, I'm okay. I'm working with him. He's the master. So, you know.
So maybe all of us were going to be like at the end of the confinement, we will rush to a Chanel or to a Hermes store as they do in China now, but waiting for that next experience. Thank you all for coming today. It was a great talk, and so I have recorded it. I have no idea how to, you know, use it now. So we'll see how to edit the recording and how to send it to you via social medias, because that's all how we work today. But thank you all to have joined today, and thank you so much, Sophie Lacoste. Thank you, Aurélie, Julien. I would be very willing to, you know, pursue these dialogues and these and discover more about Fusal, which is not only a ski brand. I just want to tell you that they're working on you know, how to things to wear. In London, they have this fantastic shop in South Kensington, which we're all going to be discovering soon. Thank you all, and have a great day.
Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.